You need me on that wall.
Ty Cicero high today.
Yeah, Tom's a man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. 'Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? Can somebody respond?
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Reaction Monday in the doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham, and I'm overflowing with stuff. I don't know how this show is going to come out because sometimes if I'm over-prepared, the show kind of sucks. But I've got a lot of stuff. I mean, we got plenty of room for your reactions, too, to what's going on in the sports world today. And I'm looking for your input. I mean, we can hit on a number of things. I am looking for your input. I want to hear from you today because we got room for you, especially in the first hour of the show. I mean, basically, we got everything going on right now. USFL, NASCAR, Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs, the final week of the NHL regular season, the final weekend of the regular season of college baseball. Oh, yes. And it's NFL draft week, which is the beginning of the new football year. Or is it the end of the old football year? It's a metaphysical question, which I'm not sure there's a correct answer to. But if you know what you want to talk about, the phone lines are open. 256-576-4977. 256-576-4977 gets you into the show. You can text the show at 7329-TA-SHOW. 732-982-7469. It's a great way to communicate with us. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. The station's Twitter feed is at 97.7 ESPN. I have a poll question up there. It's the metaphysical question. Do you consider the NFL draft the end or the beginning of the football season? I just put it up. I have it up just for the show. It says there's 2 hours left. There's 2 hours left of the show. And you guys seem pretty emphatic about this being the beginning of the football season. 80% of respondents are saying it's the beginning of the football season. 7.5% of respondents are saying it's the end of the football season, like the last thing in the football season, and then we start. And 12.5% of you are responding, like I hurt your head with this question. It really is an interesting question. I mean, 80% of you say it's the beginning of the new year. I could see, though, people that would say, okay, this is the very end. All right, we have the end of college football. We have the end of the NFL. Then they draft the new players. Now you got your new team, and then you start anew with camps. But a lot of people say, no, this is the beginning. It's all over with. Everything is over with. And now we have the beginning of the new year with the draft. We draft the team and we start. Really? Okay. You want to react to that? You can react to that on top of everything else. We are also on Twitch at 97.7 ESPN, where you can watch the show as well. Go there, become a follower. Our YouTube channel is live for you to watch the show there. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Like and subscribe there. Go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that stuff. Our Facebook page is at 97.7 ESPN. It's very active. There's a lot going on there. There's clips of shows, all kinds of great info there. Tell you about everything that's going on, games that we have, and so on. While you're at it, get the app. Get the app so you can have a link to Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. And we got something else coming up in a very, 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 very near future, which we can't tell you about yet because we're beta testing. But we got something else coming up for you just because we are the Tennessee Valley sports leader. I mean, there really, I know, not really many other choices, but I'm just saying we have everything. All right? We've got pretty much everything. Later this week, you're going to need all of our programming options between the draft, Alabama baseball, the Braves. I mean, we got it all covered on multiple channels, multiple outlets. It's there for you. Hour number 1 is wide open for your phone calls today. So I expect to hear from you. I mean, go ahead now. If you want to go ahead now and get in, you can do it right now at 256-576-4977. Jump on in. We'll get you in on whatever it is that is on your mind. Pick your topic, because there sure are enough things to get into. And I got to be honest with you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The best thing I saw all weekend, and I had to watch most of whatever I saw this weekend on replay or the DVR or highlights, was Talladega. Watching Jeffrey Earnhardt slice and dice on the final lap in overtime, going from 5th when the final lap started to finish 2nd in the Xfinity race. I mean, it was Saturday's race. I got chills watching the friggin' highlights. I mean, that looked like Earnhardt. His grandpa Earnhardt. The black number 3 car running down Noah Gragson, and Noah Gragson's driving the Bass Pro Shops car. Bass Pro founder Johnny Morris was great friends with Jeffrey's grandfather, Dale. Dale's crew chief, Larry McReynolds, was on the pit box for the kid, for Jeffrey, at Dega. They put the deal together 2 weeks ago. They're like, okay, we're going to get Jeffrey Earnhardt. We're going to put him in a number 3 car for Richard Childress Racing, and we're going to put Larry McReynolds on the box. Oh, are you kidding me? You kidding me? Jeffrey, and he's going to run like hell, and he's going to slice and dice. I mean, you got to see the final lap. I'm going to put the link up. I got to put the link up. You got to see this final lap. In and out, and I mean, he almost won the race. It's amazing. Jeffrey is the son of Kerry Earnhardt. Kerry, by the way, looks just like the old man. I mean, I haven't seen a picture of Kerry in the last 10 years, but back in the day when Kerry was running and he had the same mustache going, he looked just like his father. Much more than Dale Jr. does. To be honest, Jeffrey looks more like Junior than he does his dad, Kerry. I'm not saying anything about anything. I'm not saying something weird was going on. I'm just saying he looks more like Junior. The kid is now 32, and it just seemed to be that he was never in good equipment. Why he wouldn't be in good equipment, I don't know. Maybe he's not that good. But for a day, Saturday, he was that good. Then on Sunday, the 500 was great as well, with Ross Chastain winning it on a typical last lap pass. I mean, Eric Jones goes into that final lap with the lead in another iconic car, the 43 of Richard Petty. Now, it wasn't in classic STP colors. It was in the Air Force. It was a very good-looking car. He was carrying the Air Force, I would say colors, but I always thought the Air Force colors were blue and gray, or silver and blue, right? Air Force, you think Air Force, don't you think blue and silver? It was olive drab. I mean, the car looked like an Army car, but it said Air Force on it. It had the Air Force logo on it. So that dude goes into the final lap leading, and he and Kyle Larson, who's probably the best driver out there right now, he and Kyle Larson, they get to beating and banging on the final lap. And Chastain dips down low in the number 1 car and gets the win. It's the best track in all of NASCAR. I'm going to tell you right now, including Daytona. It is the best track in all of NASCAR. And here's the crazy thing. They're barely running 190. They were running like 187, 188, 189. They're barely running 190. I may be making this up totally. I'll put the crack research team on it. I think Dega opened in 1969. I'm going off the top of my head right now. I think the first race at Talladega was 1969. I think they ran 195 in 1969 at Talladega. I think. I may have just totally made that up. My brain it's a little bit mush. There are a lot of things floating around in there. But I'm going to say that they ran like 195 in 1969 at Talladega in qualifying. Remember, Talladega is where the restrictor plate was born. Bobby Allison will tell you that he turned the fastest lap there at 212 miles an hour. Others will say it was Bill Elliott. But Bill Elliott had the famous line in qualifying. He says, it's not how fast you're going to get around Talladega. It's if you're going to get around Talladega. The first race at Dega was April 12th, 1970, according to research. So I was off by, they built the track at 69. That's what I was thinking. Pete Hamilton won the race. What was the qualifying time, though, for Pete Hamilton? I think they ran 195. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. I don't know what the fastest lap was back then. But it was the best thing that I saw all weekend. Matt Hayes from Saturday Down South says that Kirby Smart is now the best coach in college football. And not just because the Dogs won the Natty last year. I'll give you his reasoning. In the meantime, Alabama has another wide receiver from the transfer portal. This one is the speedster from Louisville, Tyler Harrell. Dude was timed in the 40 at 4.24 seconds. I mean, he needs a restrictor plate. 4.24 seconds at a pro day. This isn't like you're timing him on a rock and you guess. This was a real time. 4.24 seconds. Now, last year he only caught 18 passes. 18 passes for 523 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's like 30 yards per catch. Right? I mean, I'm no math major when 18 carried away. It's like 30 yards a catch. 6 touchdowns on 18 catches. 6. Crazy. So you can hit that if you want. Or Major League Baseball. We can take a look at the standings 3 weeks into the season. Hot starts for the Dodgers, who have the best record in baseball percentage-wise at 11-4, or the Mets, who have the most wins. Well, don't look crash and burn, but the Mets have the most wins in baseball at 12-5. Of course, it takes a Yankee and Buck Showalter to get them there. Braves are scuffling at 7-4. They got the Cubbies coming in next. And yes, if you want to touch on the Yankees drama on Saturday with Miles Straw calling out the fans, then trying to climb the outfield fence, get face-to-face with fans, and then after the Yankees win on a walk-off, the fans shower him with bottles and crap, and it takes the judge. Aaron Judge goes out there. And Aaron Judge told him, all right, knock it off. And that's it. They stop. It was a judge ruling. He went out there and said, knock that off, and they stopped. Giancarlo Stanton went out there as well, and then they started throwing crap at Stanton. No, I just made that up. Stanton did go out there, and he's giving all right, knock it off. Nobody's paying attention to him. Judge told them to stop, and they stopped. But look, Miles Straw, here's a bit of advice. I don't know anything about anything. I'm 61 years old. I don't know much about this, but I know this. Try not to say that the fans of the team you're playing are the worst fans in baseball before you play them, okay? I'm just saying. I'm going to go out there on a limb and just say, don't say New York Yankee fans are the worst fans in all of baseball before the game. You don't say that. The Yankee fans yesterday, when Straw goes out to his position in right field, I'm surprised they played him, to be honest with you. I thought they might not even play him. They put, extra protection and cops, in the aisles. Of course, the cops were throwing stuff. Well, no, they were not. The fans were chanting every time he went out to right field. The fans were chanting Peter Parker. Peter Parker. That's funny. Peter Parker. That's funny because he was because he went up the wall like Spider-Man. He climbed the wall to get face to face with the fans. And I thought that was funny. All right, there's a lot here on the table. There's a lot. I just threw a lot of meat on the table. We're going to get your phone calls in. Let me get Grizz in first. He's over in that little glass booth. He's playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax. He's answering the phones. He's keeping us on the air. He caught as many fish on Saturday as I did. DJ Grizzy Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. That Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Play football. He played baseball. Grizz, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine, but I'm not doing as good as the Atlanta Hawks did over the weekend, and it was at least they split one at home.
They're on the edge of
that last
extinction.
game, man. Yesterday was miserable to watch. After watching them, how well they played in the third game, to watch them just kind of flat out just get ran over by Jimmy Butler. Nobody could score. I mean, it just seemed like even Trae Young only had 9 points in the game, so it was really difficult to watch as an Atlanta fan.
Yeah, I would imagine it would be. They're done.
And watching the Braves lose to Miami.
The Braves didn't have a great. But
both Miami teams. My goodness, over the weekend, it's just Atlanta and Miami. My goodness.
Yeah. Miami has the upper hand on Atlanta right now. But at least you weren't out on Guntersville Lake grinding away and not catching any fish and watching your son catch fish. He caught a couple of nice ones that we had in the live well. I couldn't – listen to this, Grizz. Not only did I not catch a fish, which is like extremely rare to not, to get totally skunked. Not only did I not catch a fish, I didn't even have a bite. I didn't lose a fish. Me and Guntersville right now are not kindred spirits. Guntersville and I'm ready to get back on Woods and Tim's and my places, and I'm not happy with Guntersville right now. The weeds were all slimy with that slime on there. You couldn't fish the weeds good.
Yeah.
But there's always some clown out there catching 25 pounds. There were 8 bags that were over 20 pounds in the tournament. 8 over 20 pounds. That's a 4-pound average. The guys that won had a 5-pound average.
Yeah, like you said earlier, it seems like it's alive and well, and it seems like, it seems like you need to get on some of your guides and some of the guys we're telling you where to go. It seems like you need to know some better places.
I had too much advice. I had so much advice I was confused. I had elite pros telling me stuff. I had guides telling me stuff. I had friends telling me stuff, and I got spun around. There was so many different things going on. I got spun around. But, that's the way that went. All right, let me get Brandon in here. Brandon, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'd love to say I'm better. I'm repairing a little bit of damage on my desk today here. I'm waiting on the glass man to get here.
What's up with that, man?
My son and he's 12 now, and he's got to where he wants to roughhouse a good bit. And, I body slam him and have to kick his butt regularly to that's kind of playing he wants to do. And I kind of kicked his butt and took his hoverboard from him, and I'm not real good on that thing, but I'm somewhat good on it. And I came around and turned into the dining room, and he jumps off the table like Rey Mysterio and tries to do some Hurricanrana move, and I kind of threw him through the front of the china cabinet and busted a bunch of the glass out of it on accident. He's not cut, but we did a pretty good amount of damage.
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, is he okay? I mean, that's the first thing is he okay?
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's got into all this AEW and wants to come in every Wednesday night Dynamite and screaming at the TV, and he reminds me of me back in like 1993. So, all
right, then the second question is, don't you know you don't play with the hoverboard in the house? I mean, did your wife yell at you or anything? You don't play with the hoverboard in the house.
Yeah, she yelled at me, and I told her, I said, yet again, you're mad about something you didn't pay for. That went over real well.
Oh, geez. Yeah, no, you can't go there because she did. You know what I mean? That's it. That like with my wife and I'm always very, very careful. It's not, my money, your money. It's everything is our money, no matter what. She earns money, I earn money. It's our money, and everything that gets spent. It's not like, okay, you got to buy that, I'm going to buy this or whatever. Although she does want to buy this patio set, which I was like, whoa, wait a minute here. I don't have the, I don't want to, I can't drop, this jing on this patio set. She said, don't worry, I'll buy it. I'm like, oh, okay. So.
Well, somebody gave it to me when I bought my first house. I've had this dining room set for a long time. It's really
nice. I thought you were talking about the hoverboard.
Yeah. Oh, no, the hoverboard was great. I didn't see him. He kind of jumped on me, and I tried to flip him over, and I really didn't realize there was only about 2 feet behind us. So we kind of calmed the roughhousing down. We were going to come to your fishing tournament.
Yeah.
And come over by that, but we're at Blossom Hill Barbecue Friday night, and he just throws up on the table. It's amazing how they go from throwing up till they're great in like 30 hours. They're fully recovered. And I didn't even stop. I just kept eating. And the guy sitting at the table next to us, he pointed at me. He said, "You're a savage, sir." And I told him, I was like, "Clean it up." And I was just messing with him. I had the wife tore up there. But with all of that, I still think that Angel Hernandez had a worse weekend than anybody. How does that dude how do they not call him and say, "Look, you're fired. I'm sorry."
Because you can't get fired in that job. You know what I mean? You cannot. It doesn't seem like you can get fired in that gig because, like once you're, and by the way, those of you who don't know who Angel Hernandez is, he's an umpire in baseball. He called in a tight 1-0 game. He called Kyle Schwarber out on a pitch that's low and outside. And I'm reading y'all that people are saying, well, really it's too close to take. You know what? Bullcrap. If you got a good eye, that pitch is low and outside. You take that pitch. Other people are saying, well, the box isn't accurate. It looks like it was low and out. No, it was outside. The actual Major League Baseball has its own system that that looked that way. It's not low and outside because on the TV it was low and outside. It was low and outside because it was low and outside. I mean, it was terrible.
Well, Drew and Scott gave some numbers this morning, and I don't know if the Crack research team gave them those numbers or not, but they said his accuracy was less than 85%, that he missed about 15 calls of some kind in one game.
Yeah, it's terrible. He's one of the worst. Yeah.
I don't understand how you don't get fired. I don't understand how they don't call you in and say, "Look, we need to give you some games off. We need to do something to let this cool off." That's I went back and watched some of the clips they were putting online. It's absolutely inexcusable.
Well, let's do some math. He's wrong. He's wrong 15% of the time, right? Because they say his accuracy rate is 80%. So there are 300 pitches per game. There are 150 pitches or so on each side. So 300 times 0.15, 45 pitches. Dude misses 45 pitches a game. 45 times a game. There's a ball that is inside, outside, high, low, that he calls a strike. And many times it's a called third strike, or it completely changes the game. This is why we got to get the robotic, balls and strikes in there. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, they got to do something. You can't be that many pitches. You're talking about 45. Well, of those, how many of them are questionable? And if you boil that down, like you're talking about, how many of them are a called strike three? That you can really tilt a game on 3 called strike threes in a game.
Mm-hmm. He had one called strike that he missed that was 6.5 inches off the plate. He called it a strike. 6.5. It's the worst miss of baseball. Tracks this stuff. It's the worst miss of the season. Angel Hernandez has it. 6.5 inches off the plate. Strike! Like he's freaking Frank Bremen or whatever. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
I had no words for it. I just stared to myself and thought, how can this guy keep his job?
No.
At this point, I know that these guys are protected, but somebody's got to call him in and say, "Look, you can't continue to do this." They might let him continue to go and really keep him on a short leash, And you were talking about NASCAR earlier. What point does NASCAR not get that people like it when they beat and bang and wreck? Back when Dale Earnhardt was with Childress and he was wrecking the crap out of cars, and Bill France called him in and all that mess was going on, people could not wait till the next week to see what was going to happen.
Yep.
I understand these sponsors put a lot of money in these cars. I got a great idea. Build them where they can take a hit.
Well, that's the new car. The new car is supposed to be more, resistance to damage, and we did see a lot of that. We saw cars that got hurt and, that hit the wall or brushed the wall, and they could keep going, and, they can handle it. It's really the guys. It's like when the Hendrick cars were all running up front. You have 4 Hendrick cars. They were running for the second stage championship, and I'm sitting points. And I'm sitting, I'm watching. I'm like, there's no way that these Hendrick cars are going to race each other. There's no way they're going to just stay single file and not pull out and race each other because they're all, Rick Hendrick could get all bent out of shape. Jeff Gordon, who runs Hendrick Racing now, would say, "Wait a minute, we're not wrecking each other." Whoever's in and they just stayed single file. They just went single file all the way through the deal. I think we need to get rid of the teams. I think 2 cars max. I think these 4 and 5 car teams, with the associate team members and things like that are, I think we have to get rid of that. I think it should be a 2-car max team, and that's it.
Well, you remember when
it's like roller derby out there.
Earnhardt was there? You remember late 90s Earnhardt was there when they tried to strip over the top of the car, and they would actually go in the front bumper and put those form bars in there.
Yeah.
To where if you had a draft and they put them in the rear, where you could just slam into a dude and push him as hard as you go without bending the front end on the cars up. That right there is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and these cars bump draft pretty good, but do we want that too? That's the other part of it. Do we want that? Is it really racing when guys are pushing other guys and then they're locking fenders and then it becomes roller derby? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, they're just, front to back. We did see yesterday, if you watch it, I watched the whole race. If you see yesterday, there was a lot of bump drafting on the straightaways. You couldn't bump draft in the turns, but there was a lot of bump drafting in the straightaways. And we saw guys getting runs like that. But I'm telling you, for anybody that is just a NASCAR fan, go back and watch the clip of the final lap of the Xfinity race. Just watch the highlight on NASCAR.com of the final lap of the Xfinity race and watch Jeffrey Earnhardt, who shouldn't be called Jeffrey. I don't understand why if you're named Jeffrey, you don't call yourself Jeff. I mean, why would you call yourself Jeffrey? Anyway, Jeffrey Earnhardt dicing in and out and making moves. He went from 5th to 2nd on the last lap. It was a thing of beauty, man. In that black number 3 car, I had chills. I honest to God, I had goosebumps.
Oh, I saw some of it, and I did as well. And something I've said since the time I was a child. If NASCAR would give these cars one, and if you know much about street racing, you know what I'm about to say. If they would give them one Sneaky Pete bottle of nitrous, where you could hit the button one time, and it only gives you a little bit, maybe 1,200 feet of a boost. Everybody gets one. And you know when it's coming. It'd be mostly the last lap. If they would do that, where they would give you just a little hit of it, oh, man, the fans would come unwound because you would never know what's going to happen.
Oh, God, yeah, hit the nos. That's what you need to do. You need to hit that. You need to hit that bottle on the last lap.
So many cars would be like in the stands.
230 miles an hour, yeah.
No, just give them 100 horsepower. Don't give them like some guys run out here where they got 1,000. Just give them 100, 150. That'll only last for 1,200 feet, half a lap, something that'll give you something because you know it's coming and you're waiting on it. It's something to anticipate when they're going to hit the button. And it'd be nice if they put a little thing in the car that shows them hitting the button, kind of like Gone in 60 Seconds where it says, "Go, baby, go." I mean, it would be I've been waiting on them to do that, but I guess they never will because of the flammability of it. It would make my day.
Like in the Fast and the Furious. That'd be good. All right, Brandon. Appreciate the call, man. Good job by you.
Roll Tide, brother.
Look, more people watch Talladega than anything else. I mean, say what you want. NASCAR still, every weekend, more people watch the race than watch anything else. Now, baseball is deceiving because everybody's watching different games. So you'd have to add it all up, I guess. But more people watch the race than watch any one thing all weekend, as usual. Let's get a break. When we come back, we'll continue with your phone calls. 256-576-4977. Why does Peter King, or check that, why does Matt Hayes think Kirby Smart is now the best coach in college football? And what did Tennessee baseball do over the weekend? All right, we'll be back. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
A week from Saturday, it's the 2022 Kentucky Derby with Epicenter the odds-on favorite at 5-1, followed by Messier, Taba, and Zandon at 6-1, followed by Mo Donegal at 8-1 odds. NBA playoffs tonight, the Celtics a chance to close out the Nets. Brooklyn a 1-point favorite in Game 4, 220 the total. The Raptors a 7.5-point dog at the Sixers, 209.5 the total in Game 5. The Mavericks a 3-point favorite against the Jazz, 213 total, series tied at 2-2. The only game in the NHL tonight, the Flyers at the Blackhawks. Chicago, the moneyline home favorite, -140. Philadelphia at +120. The over-under 6.5.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
The Braves are back, and they're on a mission to defend the East, defend the National League pennant, and defend their world title.
Line drive, that is through. It gets through. Here comes Dansby, and the Braves walk it off. This is unbelievable.
Tomorrow night, Truist Park comes alive for a huge National League matchup as Matt Olson and the Braves take on the Chicago Cubs. Braves radio's on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
The internet is everything. Actually, everything. And with WOW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WOW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead ran away and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect isolated showers and a few thunderstorms. Clouds will start to increase throughout the overnight. Low temperatures falling into the lower 50s. And for your Tuesday, isolated showers and thunderstorms will be another possibility. Otherwise, a partly cloudy sky. High temperatures topping out in the mid-60s for the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Be sure and join us today from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the fine folks at the Woody Anderson Ford Service Department. They do a great job down there. Keep your rig running forever. Basically, I mean, kind of like forever. Look, I'm still running. Oh, I'm not running it anymore. We bought a 2004 Expedition there. Had them take care of it all along. The thing has got like 345,000 miles on it. And, you know, I'm driving an F-150 now, and my wife's driving a Mustang. I say we sold it. We sold it. We gave it to my son. We gave it to my son who's graduating next week. Next Monday, graduating from UAH. Good job by him. Just turned 22 years old. But, we gave it to him. I was like, I'm going to get rid of it. And it had a minor issue that was like $350 repair. And he said, if I get it repaired, can I have it? I'm sure. Go ahead. He's running it. I mean, it's just the thing. It's a repair. Why? Because A, Ford, and 2, the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. I mean, that's just how good they are. They do a tremendous job. Text window, unsigned. My son and his wife were in New York a couple of weeks ago. The main reason was to see a game at Yankee Stadium. He said because of the people, he'll never go again. Never seen people act like such vile, vulgar animals. Wow. Is that true? I mean, I've been to games at Yankee Stadium. I didn't never see that. I mean, look, you see stuff. I've seen vile, vulgar animals in Knoxville.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At a Tennessee game against Alabama, back when Tennessee used to beat Alabama. You know, we got to go back 15 years or so to remember that. But you know, I've seen behavior, and I'm not impugning, you know, Knoxville.
There's radicals in every fan base.
There's everywhere you can find that stuff. In Detroit, I mean, you know what I mean? They say you got to shoot your way in and shoot your way out of a game in Detroit. Chicago. We've seen things in Chicago.
How about this? I got a video. How about Philly fans when they encountered Angel Hernandez after the game?
Oh.
This is good.
Angel Hernandez, you stink, and I don't like you!
Philadelphia, are you kidding me?
The little kid said it before the guy did. The little kid was like, Angel, you suck.
Philadelphia fans, they go to the airport to boo good landings. Are you kidding me? He said people that pelted Santa Claus with batteries. I mean, you know.
They're passionate fans, man. They love to bash.
Chicago, especially on the South Side. Cub fans apparently aren't so bad. They're more sophisticated. The South Side fans, I'm going to a game in Chicago in a few weeks.
Yeah. My
daughter got us lower level tickets to the Yankees and the White Sox.
Nice.
Her husband is a White Sox fan. And, of course, I'm a Yankee fan.
Yeah.
So he and I are going to have to get in a fist fight at the game.
Yeah, sometime in June, I'm going to be wearing my Braves jersey out to St. Louis. So I'll be catching a Cubs and Cardinals game.
Yeah, you'll be catching some noise then. You will definitely catch some noise then. I got to get you the dates on this thing because I'll be down there. I'll be up there in Chicago. I think it's like the 14th or 15th, something like that. I'll be up there in Chicago for that deal. So, anyway, that's what he says about the fans. I don't know.
Get your show live from Murphy's bleacher seating behind the stadium at Wrigley.
Wrigley. No, see, I'm going to Southside.
Oh, you're going. Oh, okay, cool.
I'm going
even
to,
better.
I'm going to whatever they call it. It used to be Comiskey Park. Kramer says, I believe the beginning of the football season starts with the opening of new free agency when the Bills signed Von Miller. And that's the start. To me, that's the start of the new year. As soon as the Super Bowl is over, he says. So the draft belongs to the new season. The draft is not the end of the last season. He says it's the beginning of a new season. Plus, he wants music to start the week. He wants, like we have music to finish the week.
Yeah.
You know, with the. So he wants music to start the week. And I don't know what music we would use to start the week.
I go to foreign countries and there's soccer everywhere. They've got big screens for the World Cup set up in the village square. But on TV in the U.S., soccer gets a zero share. Because we know soccer blows.
There's that. That could be our Monday song. Could that be? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. We have a Thursday thing. Yeah, we got that on Thursday. I mean, I don't know.
To start the week.
Start the week. That should be every day.
That should be every day. That should just be every day.
That's every day. That should be every day. You start that chive.
Way back yonder up in the hills of Tennessee. You know that the corn won't grow at all on Rocky Top. The dirt is too dirty and rocky by far.
That's better. I like that better.
We could go
that
with
sounded
that.
Better.
We could go with that, or we could set the week up and here we come. Greatest wrestling theme song ever. Goldberg, right? That's the sound we need. I need that sound. Send me that sounder. I don't have that sounder.
That.
That's the sound we need. That one right there. There you go, Wolverine Dan in here. Wolverine Dan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I think you motivate people a lot better with the Michigan fight song.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that, but I might not have. I don't think I have that anywhere.
Hey. I just got done hopping out of the Mustang GT 89 anniversary, 25-year anniversary with the 5.0 and the final top, baby. Just got back from the grocery store, so
top down.
Visualize it.
Top down.
Visualize. No.
Yeah.
Pop. I had goat cheese in the car. Check this out. No, I'm on the cinnamon fasting. I don't eat till 12 o'clock.
Right.
But I had to have it. And it was 10 o'clock. I had to eat it. There was a 30-piece shrimp container with cocktail sauce for only $7. I had to buy it.
Are you sure it's good? Are you sure it's not like old or something? Because that'll give you some kind of. You'd be like Brandon's kid. You'd be throwing up on the table.
No.
It's not 3-day-old shrimp that's been stayed outside or something.
I'm in the Mustang GT, right?
Yeah.
With the top open on the container, dip the shrimp as I'm driving home, baby.
Oh my gosh,
30 of them.
That's crazy, man. That is nuts. That is nuts. My wife took me to dinner last night.
Really good.
My wife took me to dinner last night at a Mexican restaurant in her car, and she put the top down on the car, not her. I mean on the car. The top is down. Hey.
Huh? Stop it now. You stop it. Hey,
struggling. I said, don't put your top down. Yeah. And she goes, want to put the top down? I go, no.
Yeah, well,
the car. Yeah, okay.
No, Ginger and I went for a little ride yesterday in the GP. It's been at a little work lately. I've been driving it a lot because I'm enjoying it. The weather's nice. Now, with that said, history was done this past week.
Yes, Miggy Cabrera. Yeah, with a 3,000th hit on Saturday after the game was postponed on Friday. He got his 3,000th hit. That's amazing. First ballot all-time player. I mean, he's in a class right now with 3,000 hits.
There's 7 of them.
I got something even more exclusive for you.
3,000 hits and 500 home runs or better.
Yeah.
There's 7.
Yeah, let me give you something even better. A more exclusive list. How about 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and a 300 lifetime average? You know how many of those there are? Now 3. It's Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, And Miguel Cabrera, that is end of list. And for him not to finish, I mean, it's almost assured that he's going to finish with a 300 average. If he could go 0 for the next over 600 at-bats, he could go 0 for the next, 2 years and still end up with a 300 average. He's a lifetime, 313 hitter or something.
Dude, that's impressive.
Yeah, you're on a list with Hank Aaron and Willie Mays. That's it. End of list. I mean, that's pretty strong.
One of 4 to win 2 MVP awards as well. 600 doubles. He's one of 3.
Yeah.
So
he's an all-time great.
With Pujols, too.
So this is, I'm going to end with this another story about the old Zelensky household here. The guy across the street took down, I want to say, at least a 200-year-old oak tree. This stump, I want to say it was at least 7 foot in circumference all the way around. Oh, my gosh.
Wait a minute, circumference or diameter?
Well, isn't that the same thing?
No, circumference is around, diameter is across. From one end to the other across. Circumference could be 20 feet,
No, it's 7 feet, but check this out. The guy got tired of wood chipping it, and he cut it down even further. He says, I can't finish this thing. There's so much. The person that cut the tree, they cut it too tall. So he said he cut that dang thing off. He sliced another foot off it. Still did a bunch of grinding. But this is the good part. He brings a backhoe. This is good stuff. Stuff like this doesn't happen that often. When it happens, you got to jump on it, okay?
Yeah.
You got to hit it with irons hot. His partner says, I told him, I said, I need some wood chips from all my landscaping. He said, no problem. Tom, I counted buckets on this John Deere tractor.
Yeah.
He bought me 40 buckets.
Wow.
Tom,
That's a lot of wood chips.
That is? A wood chip's what? What is it, $20 for a bucket maybe?
I don't know if it's that much, but yeah, I mean, and you help them out because they're hard to get rid. They're a pain in the butt to get rid of, so you help them out by they're not having to haul them away, and you get the wood chips. I get them every once in a while from the guys that run around town here chipping the brush and stuff. Say, hey, can I get some of them chips? Yeah, they'll dump them for you. But that's good. I mean, what are you going to do with 40 buckets of chips though? I mean, you can't use that much.
Were you talking me?
Yeah.
I got so much landscaping, Tom. When you come see my place, you go, oh, my God, is this heaven? Tom, I'm serious. This is going to be one of my best landscaping jobs.
Mm.
You like it? I even got, and I was going to cut it last winter, Tom. I've got a rose bush. It's not a red rose bush. It's yellow, Tom. Oh, my God.
We had a yellow rose bush. I had to dig it up yesterday. It's deader than a doornail. My wife was very upset, and we dug it out. And she's like, no, it's going to come back. I said, no, it's not going to come back. This is dead wood, all right? This is dead wood.
Well,
but, yeah, we still have a yellow. We have a yellow one on our fence. That's pretty cool.
But that's what I thought, Tom. I thought it was. And I go, I'm going to cut. I thank God I didn't do it because right now I've got at least, I count them, probably about 20 more blooms if not bloomed yet. It's beautiful, Tom.
Yeah.
You got to come. You got to stay at my place.
I got to see it.
You know what? We'll play some euchre and I'll barbecue.
Yeah.
Hey?
Hey, I forgot you guys played euchre. Oh, we're always looking for somebody to play euchre with. All right, man.
I
got to get a break in here. All right. Appreciate you. All right, let me tell you what Tennessee did quick. Tennessee baseball, because I teased it and then I'm an idiot. Tennessee baseball, they swept Florida for the first time in ever. They swept Florida at Florida. They're 17-1 in the league now going into the final weekend of SEC play. They're ridiculous. They're like 37-3 or something, their overall record. And they lost to Alabama. That's the one. Anyway, they went back to the facilities to shower after the game from the stadium down there in Florida. They went back to the facility. They got into the equipment room somehow, and they took pictures wearing Gator helmets. They put the Florida Gator football helmets on and trolled the Gators by wearing the Florida Gator football helmet afterwards saying, we swept you. On the Twitter, there's pictures of them wearing be careful, because I don't know. I think you beat Florida once in the last 25 years or something. I don't know if I'd be trolling. I don't think the football team would be too happy with you. Let's get a break. We'll come back and wrap up hour number 1 next on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The Trash Pandas start their next homestand Tuesday night against the Birmingham Barons. This week's promotions include a Reed Detmers bobblehead giveaway on Thursday, post-game fireworks on Friday and Saturday, and a Trash Pandas tote bag giveaway closes out the week on Sunday. Get your tickets for all the fun now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
Let's rock it. Are you in the market for a recreational vehicle? Do you want to get out and see more of this beautiful country? Well, imagine hearing the laughter of your little ones enjoying gooey s'mores by a cozy campfire and making lasting memories with your friends and family from the comfort of a new camper. We can make your dreams come true at Hall's RV. With over 15 years in the camping business, we know how to get our customers into the perfect camper. We have several models and floor plans here for you to choose from, both new and used. We're family owned and operated with fantastic deals and great service. Everyone wants to work with people they can trust, so come on down to Hall's RV and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll treat you right and get you on the road in the camper of your dreams. Visit us on Highway 431 in Albertville. Hall's RVs, where we sell fun. Or see us on the web at www.hallsrvsales.com.
Did you know that your car, truck, or SUV may be worth over 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we'd love your trade-in for a personalized custom factory order on a 2022 Explorer, Expedition, Ranger, or F-150. You'll get exactly the color and options you want, and Woody Anderson Ford will save you 5% off MSRP, plus you'll get any additional Ford factory rebates. Or if you need a new ride today, choose a Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicle. We have over 100 to choose from. Our Ford Gold certified or low mileage, gently used vehicles with great warranties. They've passed a 172-point inspection by certified technicians, come with our 24-hour roadside assistance, plus a full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. At Woody Anderson Ford, whether it's a new order or a pre-owned, we promise to always do the right thing. Corner of George and Sparkman, hope to see you soon.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our homemade onion strings, always fresh hot lips, and our all-new Buffalo Dippin' Chicken appetizer. Our main events include incredible chicken, fish, and shrimp selections, always featuring local Alabama Gulf seafood. And don't forget our Sunday Blitz, 11 to 6. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest.
Garage Door Company, I did my homework. I needed precision overhead garage door service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
This is the time of year where we all expect inconsistent calls from umps.
You guys stink.
That's okay. We're used to it here.
Ha!
We'll just sit back and call it like it is. Your home of the World Series. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Whitey says if the union is going to force the league to keep Angel Hernandez, could they agree that he's not allowed to call behind home plate, balls and strikes? Well, my question is this. If he misses that badly on balls and strikes, is he missing calls out on the field too? Is he missing calls? Of course, you can fix those, I guess, with replay. But you wonder whether or not he's missing, calls like that as well. Whitey also says that that's normal way for New Yorkers to behave. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that. Now, I'm not from New York City. I'm from upstate New York. I'm from the country in upstate. I'm from horse country in upstate New York. So I'm not a New York City guy. I've been to New York City to see Yankee games, but I haven't been back there since 1992. So I don't really know. I haven't been back there this century. In 1993, maybe? The last time I was in New York, I was working at the Jets facility during OTAs. Spent 2 or 3 days breaking down film for the Jets. And my buddy and I, we went to a Yankee Red Sox game. And it was like 93? About it. All right, coming up next, NFL draft talk. It is draft week. And Brent Sobolewski from the Bleacher Report, our draft guru, is next right here on the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us, too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Looks like Ben Simmons' Nets debut will have to wait until next season. He's out of a must-win in Game 4 against the Celtics tonight in that first-round NBA playoff series. After about 10 days of pain-free ramp-up, Simmons had some back soreness yesterday. He's been ruled out for Game 4, according to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Raptors guard Fred VanVleet won't play in Game 5 versus the 76ers tonight. An MRI showed a hip flexor strain. VanVleet's not sure if he'll be able to play if Toronto can extend the series to 6 games. 76ers big man Joel Embiid, meantime, will continue to play through a ligament tear in his right thumb. Woj reports he'll have surgery after Philly's season comes to an end. With the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs a week away, the Capitals waiting for word on their captain, Alex Ovechkin. He left last night's loss with an upper body injury and is being evaluated today.
From the Alabama Crimson Tide to the Atlanta Braves, we are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog.
Let's go, baby!
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elle McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by our good friends at North Alabama Mortgage. You know, North Alabama Mortgage, they made it possible for us to broadcast last week from the charity fishing tournament, and we really appreciate them for that. It just goes to show the heart that they have for the community. I mean, you know, always reaching out. They made a significant donation to the charity and allowed us to be out there broadcasting. I mean, that's just the way Brian Hammaker is. He's just that kind of a guy, and it permeates down through all of his people, whether you're in Alabama, Florida, Tennessee. They've got you covered at North Alabama Mortgage with conventional VA, FHA, and USDA loans. North Alabama Mortgage. Refi, new purchases, whatever it is, they can get it done for you. It is draft week in the NFL. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it had the USFL influence. I don't know what it is. It felt like the time that passed from the Super Bowl to the draft this year went much faster than it has in years past. I don't know if Brent Sobolewski agrees with me or not, but he joins us from the Bleacher Report, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Sobo, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing well, and I got to say it has definitely gone much faster for me over the last couple of weeks than most people because of extenuating circumstances. But I'm back in a rhythm. I'm ready for this week, and I'm excited overall.
Yeah, that notwithstanding, it just feels like it usually takes like forever when you look to the draft, and then this year it just seemed like it happened really quickly. And I got to ask you the question that is our poll question today. It's a metaphysical question. I don't even know what metaphysical means, but it's a metaphysical question. It sounded good to say physical question. And I asked, it's not a good poll question because it's predominantly going one way, but I asked, do you consider the NFL draft the end of the season? All right, the last thing that happened, Super Bowl, Combine, all that stuff that went on, pro days, and then the draft, that's the end of the season, and then we start anew. Or do you consider the NFL draft the beginning of the next season? Is it the beginning of a season or the end of a season? And almost 80% of our respondents view the draft as the beginning of the following season. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like it's the beginning of the next season, or do you feel like it's the last leg of the previous season?
Well, I'm no medical physician, but I've always looked at it as the beginning of new growth coming through spring. And you know me, build my year is around the NFL draft cycle. So this essentially is January for me. And then we have everything that goes into it, because what you're looking toward is what happens next. It's hope, it's future, it's everything you're building towards, not what you're building up to. So I think that's the way you would look at it, as the beginning of the cycle and not necessarily the end.
All right. And there are some interesting, of course, you are in the mock draft business. Everybody's in, there's a million different mock drafts that are out there. Let me ask you, have you made any significant changes? You were a Desmond Ridder guy. You've been a Desmond Ridder guy in terms of these quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are all over the lot. I think you were on Thibodeau over Aiden Hutchinson. I think you like the big kid out of North Carolina State as opposed to Evan Neal. Have you changed any of those views now that we are through the pro days?
Well, there's ways to differentiate here. For us as a scouting department and Bleacher Report, we are looking at it as our evaluations, that have been strong throughout this entire process. So to kind of give you an example, you mentioned Ike Ekwonu out of North Carolina State. We've had him with Evan Neal head up the entire time. So they have the same grade. It doesn't really matter which one you have going first or second.
It's just so much easier to say Evan Neal, though, than it is to say Ike Ekwonu. You know what I mean? That's why.
Don't try to say his full name. Hence why we call him Icky along the way. But looking at it, when you do the mock draft, specifically the way we do it, is we wait until this final draft, which will come out Thursday morning on Bleacher Report, and we will project how we think teams will move forward, not how we have players graded. So I was talking to my editor this morning. I'll give you an example. I think we've reached a point where we may not see a quarterback in the top 10. I think we're trending in that direction, and as such, that will pull him out of that, even though we've had him in mock drafts up to that point. And the irony of that is we're not sold on any of these quarterbacks. So, let's use Malik Willis. Malik Willis is a first-round physical talent. The potential is immense. But if you watch him play quarterback, he's much further behind on the developmental scale. So we've had him second, third round all year, but then pushed him up into the top 10 thinking teams were going to make that leap. Now that we're getting closer, that may be more of a stretch for some of these teams than they're willing to make, and we're trying to respond by reading the tea leaves, going through our sources, and seeing what we can do from a mock draft perspective.
Yeah. Sports Illustrated, they just came out this week with their mock draft, and they have him 6, which, man, does that seem like a reach. They have him 6 to the Carolina Panthers, the number 1 pick overall. The number 1 quarterback being picked overall. It would be Malik Willis to the Carolina Panthers. I understand there's an $18 million price tag for Baker Mayfield. They had been mentioned in the Baker Mayfield discussions, and they basically have said we're not doing anything in terms of trading for Baker Mayfield until after the first round, and we see how things fall out there. I mean, look, Baker Mayfield, love him or hate him, up and down, every other year. To me, Baker Mayfield's a hell of a lot better bet than Malik Willis. You don't know what you're getting with Malik Willis. With Baker Mayfield, I think, you would have an opportunity to evaluate 4 years of play in the NFL. It would seem like that would be a better option. Drafting Malik Willis as opposed to trading for Baker Mayfield, to me, that would only be a financial thing.
Well, it just depends, because if the Cleveland Browns are willing to eat the majority of that contract, Baker Mayfield can come very cheaply. And the same thing's applicable if we're discussing the San Francisco 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo. To me, when you look at where Carolina sits with that 6th overall pick, it's far too risky to invest in a prospect like Malik Willis, especially for that situation. Now, if we were talking like the Pittsburgh Steelers or New Orleans Saints a little later in the first round, and they have a potential veteran starter that they can lean upon for at least a year, then you insert Malik Willis. To me, that would make sense from an investment perspective. But with Carolina, yes, you have Sam Darnold, but we know he's not the answer. We know they've gone on across the world searching for every quarterback known to man so they can address the position, and failed in trading for a couple of them. So if you go and select a Malik Willis with the 6th overall pick, you are putting certain expectations on him, not only that high in the process, but also to play sooner than he'll probably be ready to do so. So to me, I agree with you that their best path forward is investing in someone like Baker Mayfield, giving up a middle round asset, only paying minimum because the Cleveland Browns have no leverage whatsoever in this situation, and then using that 6th overall pick and potentially getting one of the left tackles, whether it's Neal or Ekwonu or Charles Cross, whomever's still on the board.
If you're going to end up paying most of his salary, and most of could be $9 million, so I guess at $9 million there's a savings. But if they have to carry $14 million or $13 million of the salary, at what point in time do they not make a move? And I don't know what you can do with that. I don't know, you freeze a guy out. I don't know what you do, but there's all these rumors that if they were to cut him, that he would be a Pittsburgh Steeler that afternoon. That would be a problem. I don't think anybody wants to see that on the North Shore of Ohio. But what become the options? I mean, you give him away for next to nothing just to keep him from Pittsburgh? You ship him off to Seattle and pay most of his salary? I don't know what the deals are there, what the options are.
Well, I was about to say the problem from the start of this is they essentially ruined their own leverage. And yes, we can talk about how Baker Mayfield has handled this publicly, and he hasn't done so well, but neither have the Cleveland Browns, to be fair. And the way that they communicated with him or didn't communicate with him, the not having a deal in place while negotiating with Deshaun Watson, all these things could have been handled much better for both parties to be much happier overall, and at least kept within the walls of Berea, and that hasn't occurred. So essentially, you're a team that's negotiating without the leverage that would come if you did this earlier in the process, because a lot of those musical chairs have been filled. A lot of the salary cap space has been spent. Baker Mayfield carries an $18 million cap hit this year because of the fifth-year rookie option, which you will have to eat a vast majority of. And so when you look at it, to me, their options are simple. You get what you can get now and move on. What you do not want to happen is to let him sit and fester in this situation, continually become a running theme throughout your entire season when you're trying to move on and start anew. Yes, they have the salary cap space and flexibility to just sit him and not do anything with him and hope that an injury occurs somewhere along the way to improve his value overall on the free market. But that's a lot of ifs and that's a lot of buts when it comes to playing the trade game and where you can just to get value. Just at this juncture, to me, it just makes the most sense. Get what you can. And I don't think it's a coincidence that we have that report today from Ian Rappaport. The Carolina Panthers are saying, we're not going to do anything until after the first day, possibly, because Carolina's trying to maintain their leverage. Hey, we can still take a quarterback. Do you want to trade your guy? Well, how about you'll take a little less from him? Because if you don't let it take a little less, then we'll go draft a quarterback. And that's why you're seeing these games being played out publicly.
Yeah, well, and there's the old saying that the way you can tell if a GM is lying during draft week is his lips are moving, right? I mean, there's nothing that we hear these guys say now that we can believe in terms of what direction we're going to go in. Brent Sobolewski with us here. Just to finish that thought on Baker Mayfield, you got to say something about Deshaun Watson. With this talk now that there'll be no depositions after August 1st and that there'll be likely no trials until 2023, how do you expect the NFL to react? Are they going to let him play in 2022, thus having him be activated? You would think that there's some communication between the Cleveland brass and the NFL office so that they have a sense as to where it's going with this thing. They're going to leave him twisting. But if there's nothing happening, they're not going to bench this guy for another whole year and have him be sitting out for 2 full years, are they?
Well, let's be clear. It wasn't the NFL that had the Houston Texans bench, and the Houston Texans made that conscious decision and ate that contract last year. The Cleveland Browns clearly are not going to do so. They have made their intentions very clear. How they went about their business to acquire said quarterback and what they invested in him, which was the most significant contract in NFL history from a guaranteed standpoint. So if the Cleveland Browns are in a position where the NFL doesn't step in, and I'm going to be frank with you, Tom, I don't expect them to step into this situation. And the reason why is simple, because they've waited this entire time. Why would they jump the gun now when there's not going to be any type of solution until later down the road? And then they can act. And I mean, let's not forget, they waited on the Ben Roethlisberger situation. And he got 10 games that was eventually reduced to 6. But nothing came about the actual court cases from Ben Roethlisberger. So they're going to wait to see if something actually occurs, whether he settles, whether he's found guilty in the civil cases, or something else comes to light, and then they'll react. The NFL is a very reactionary league overall. They always have been. So to me, I fully expect Deshaun Watson to play every game this year. And then next year we'll be dealing with this all over again.
Yeah, it's interesting because I thought they just didn't act because he wasn't being activated by Houston. I thought like the minute he shows up on an active roster that then he's going to get suspended. But I guess we'll have to wait and see how that shakes out. Interesting mock being put out there by Peter King, and he's very well connected. You know that he hears things, and he's a well-connected guy. So everybody's talking about, is it Aiden Hutchinson or is it Kayvon Thibodeau that will go 1 to Jacksonville? And he says, yes, it will be a defensive lineman. Trayvon Walker out of Georgia. I mean, wow, this comes out of left field. This is the one interesting thing about this draft. Usually we have a pretty good sense of what the number 1 overall pick is going to be. Sometimes they're already even negotiating with the team that has it. I've seen up to as many as 5 different names mentioned as number 1 overall. Trayvon Walker? What do you think about that possibility that Jacksonville goes that route and passes on Hutchinson and Thibodeau in that one hole?
That's a mistake. And to me, one, we have Kayvon Thibodeau as the best player in this year's draft class. I think he has the most potential to be that explosive edge rusher that you would grow accustomed to selecting with that first pick. Maybe not quite on Myles Garrett's level or even Jadeveon Clowney, but it's just a half step below. If you do not go pass rusher, I've contended all along that your next step is to really build around Trevor Lawrence. Go out and get an Evan Neal. He can play guard for a year. He did it at Alabama. And then when Cam Robinson's franchise tag is up after this season, bump him out to left tackle, and you have a premium position filled. To me, those are the two smartest approaches to what that pick should be with number one. I get the Trevor, but you also have to look at the film and evaluate where he is as a player. And I've actually likened him to Malik Willis in that he is so far behind on the developmental curve comparatively with others in this class who are also I love his attitude. I love his versatility. I love the physicality he plays with. But if you're taking a guy number one overall, he better have more than 9.5 sacks over 3 years playing for the best defense in college football. And that's just a fact of where he stands based on his development. And that's, to me, why it would just be a massive blunder for
We're Brent jumping in and out on us a little bit there, but I got to get his take on this. Staying with that Peter King mock, he has Kayvon Thibodeau falling all the way to 13 to the Seahawks. The Seahawks making a trade out of the number 9 down to number 13, and Thibodeau still being on the board. That would be the story of the first night, is Thibodeau falling and falling and falling. Could he possibly fall that far? I don't know that could happen. But it would be very, very interesting to see if it were to happen. And he's got, Hutchinson going in the second spot. But, to me, that would be this would be Aaron Rodgers falling to 22. That kind of story if it were to happen. And Trent. Not Trent. We're not talking to Trent right now. We're talking to Brent Sobolewski. Brent, if Peter has Thibodeau falling all the way to 13, which would be the story of the night on Thursday night if it were to happen. He has him going to the Seahawks, who trade down from 9 to 13 and can take Thibodeau at 13. Is there any way that Kayvon Thibodeau is still on the board at 13 that many people would pass on him? What's wrong with him?
There's nothing particularly wrong, and this is something that's been discussed, and I first started hearing it at the NFL Combine, that he has a lack of commitment and he doesn't try as hard as he should, and he's all about his brand. And to me, it's all been one gigantic smokescreen. And there's other reports, and I believe Peter King's reporting what he's heard. But you have to understand what the intentions are for the people that are saying those things. You mentioned earlier, Tom, about any general manager talking about the draft at this juncture is lying. And that, honest to God, there are teams that are playing up to build situations in their favor, as they should. That's a part of their job, to get the best value for their team. And so when you look at it, there's also been very strong consideration in reports that Thibodeau may be capped out at going at 4 or 5 at the lowest. So I tend to believe those ones based on his abilities in this draft. As I said earlier, I don't know if I was cutting in or out at that point, but I stated that Bleacher Report has him as our number 1 overall prospect. That's what I believe he is going into this year's class. Maybe he slides a few picks down the board, but the idea that he's going to go that far down, to me, is buying way too much into the pre-draft smokescreen than it is actually evaluating the individual.
Back to the quarterbacks. I don't know if any of these guys are first-round quarterbacks. They're just the quarterbacks that are available this year. But how many do you suspect slip into the first round of the group of Malik Willis and Matt Corral and Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder, who you like, and Sam Howell? Of those guys, do you think we end up with just 1 or 2? Do you think that there are reaches here all over the board? Pittsburgh, do they reach for the Pittsburgh kid and Kenny Pickett and some of these other ones? Sam Howell to the Atlanta Falcons, I have seen that as well. Matt Corral later on in the first round, maybe even the New Orleans Saints. What is your take on how many quarterbacks will end up in the first round, whether they deserve it or not?
I'm not a betting man, but I put the over-under at 2.5 because I do believe there are 2 solid choices in this year's first round. We discussed Malik Willis earlier. And while I do not believe he's a first-round quarterback based on the overall evaluation, he is clearly a player with first-round traits, both as an athlete and natural arm ability. And if you put him, as I stated, in the right situation, he can flourish and become a monster headache for opposing defenses. But if I look at beyond that point, we have Desmond Ridder as our QB1. It hasn't been a secret. What we like about him is he was asked to do things that were expected of an NFL quarterback. He was layering passes. He was making NFL-caliber reads. He stood tall in the pocket. He has things to work on. His ball placement can be erratic at times, and he has continually worked with his technique and mechanics to improve through Carson Palmer's brother, which names escape me at the moment.
Yeah. Jordan? Yeah, Jordan
thank you. I kept wanting to say James for some reason, so
right.
Thank you. So knowing that and knowing how he's interviewed with teams, it has gone very well for him in those situations to have him fall no further than late first round. So those two are the ones I expect to go in the opening frame with everyone else kind of coming off the board in day 2.
And then finally, the receivers. The receivers are a big story. There are buku great receivers in this. We agree on Drake London as being the best one. I've seen him tied to the Atlanta Falcons. Boy, would that be nice to put him there, along with Kyle Pitts and start rebuilding that offense. But Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and now Jameson Williams seems to be really climbing up this list as well. Are we going to see a run of receivers in the middle of this first round?
Yeah, but I think that was expected anyway, simply because of the way the class itself is built, and two, with the type of investments we've seen in the wide receiver position. If you look at what's been spent this offseason, not only in draft assets, but financial assets, but essentially wide receiver is now a premium position, is being paid as much or more as a left tackle because you need those explosive playmakers within your offense. And as such, I think one of the reactionary things we'll see are teams wanting to get in early on top wide receiver talent. And so they have that 4 to 5 years under their rookie deal to get high-level play without the high-level expenses. And so with guys like Jameson Williams, I think his stock has risen, and only because they're getting more information on his knee, where he could potentially be at the start of the season, and that he won't lose any of that explosivity we saw with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Then you have guys like Chris Olave, who's the best pure route runner in his class, silky smooth, guy can step in from day one and give you production. Garrett Wilson, was a playmaker from the moment he stepped on Ohio State's campus. He is very good in an explosive target, particularly with the ability to create in space. And then you have others. I'd even mention Drake London, who is our wide receiver 1, because to me, and maybe you like this comparison, Tom, maybe you won't, I see some A.J. Green in him. 6'4", 6'5", feet that would seem attached to a much smaller receiver, fluid in the hips, can get down the line or down the sideline, make the big plays, make the tough catches. I think he has elite potential as long as your quote-unquote lack of separation or top-end speed doesn't worry you, and to me it doesn't. So I look at all these options, and I see guys, once you hit about a land at number 8 and move into that 10, 11, 12, and those spots, really the run of wide receiver starting.
3 years from now, if we're talking, could we be talking about Treylon Burks maybe being the best of the bunch? I mean, is he that kind of guy that could emerge? And then just give me your thought on the kid out of Penn State, because he's probably a first rounder too, the Dotson kid.
Well, Burks all depends on how he's utilized, and that's one of the things that was surprising throughout this pre-draft process. While every other seemingly prospect was putting up amazing numbers, Burks was a bit underwhelming. And I'm not saying he needs to be the fastest wide receiver, but a 4.55, 4.46, considering his build, he's very thick, almost a running back like. The way to utilize him out of the slot, manufacturing touches, to me, you're going to have to do those types of things again as he continues to develop to see that full potential to possibly be the best in this class. Dotson's very different in that he's a smaller target, 183 pounds off the top of my head, and yet he thrived working outside the numbers, and he wasn't in the slot all that often, yet he consistently won his one-on-one matchups. He works down the field, plays much bigger than his listed height, maybe the strongest hands in his class, makes some wonderful receptions outside of his framework. So I look at him, and he's dynamic in his playmaking, but some teams might be scared away simply because of that smaller frame.
Always a pleasure. Great stuff. Tell me again, when does your mock come out? Thursday morning. You're going to have this out at Bleacher Report. You guys all getting together with your condensed mock?
Well, let me go through my schedule real quick. I believe it's tomorrow or Wednesday, we have our app community mock draft, which is picked by all the fans of the teams throughout the Bleacher Report app, and we responded and graded those selections. So that will be out next day or two. Wednesday, you will definitely have the Bleacher Report scouting department's last big board, which will be the top 300 players for this year's class with accompanying profiles. And finally, Thursday morning, first thing, will be our mock draft. Now, with that said, and as exciting as that is, we will also have mock drafts running concurrently through this weekend. So once first round ends, we'll have one coming out Thursday or Friday morning for the rest of the draft, and we'll have one once Friday ends. We'll have one for day 3. So lots going on at Bleacher Report, lots of coverage. You can find everything you need for the NFL draft.
Will you be analyzing after the draft?
Well, my schedule is I once again get to grade all of every single pick in real time, and we know how well that went for me last year. And, and then come Sunday, once everything's in the rearview mirror, I'll be writing the first 2023 mock draft. So,
get out of here,
my friend.
You are not going to mock 2023, are you?
Yes, I am. It'll be out Monday morning.
Oh, gosh. Bryce Young, number 1 pick overall?
No.
To the Falcons.
That way. Not leaning there. There's another guy on Alabama who's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Will Anderson, right now. I mean, I wonder, where would Will Anderson go if he was in this draft? Would he be the number 1 pick in this draft if Will Anderson was
the number 1 pick?
He would be
no question in my mind.
Wow, there you go. There you go. All right, man, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us with all that work that you've got to do between now and Sunday night. Have a great week.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hope everyone enjoys.
Thanks. Let me restate that. Will Anderson, is that a shocker at all? Is that a shocker?
Oh, God, no.
Is that a shocker?
No.
Will Anderson would be the number 1 pick in the draft if he were in this draft now. Right now, he'd be the number 1 pick.
I've heard it. I've heard it on this station.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're listening to this station, you're going to hear that Will Anderson's the first pick, Bryce Young is the second pick, Darian Delkert is the third pick,
and Billingsley never gets drafted.
Jaleel Billingsley will never be drafted by anybody. Jai Hall will be out of football and pumping gas in 2 minutes. I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, let's just be honest.
Bo Nix won't even – he's not getting drafted either.
Bo Nix had a hell of a spring game. Did you see his study? He threw for like 285 yards and 3 touchdowns or something out there in the spring game for Oregon. Wow. All right, let's get a break. Why is Kirby Smart, according to Matt Hayes, why is Kirby Smart the best coach in college football today? Today, right now, best coach in college football, Kirby Smart. We'll explain what he said, and you can react to that. Phone calls as well, 256-576-4977 on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
The only game in the NHL tonight, the Flyers at the Blackhawks. Chicago, the moneyline home favorite, -140. Philadelphia at +120. The over-under 6.5. A week from Saturday, it's the 2022 Kentucky Derby with Epicenter, the odds-on favorite at 5-1, followed by Messier, Taba, and Zandon at 6-1, followed by Mo Donegal at 8-1 odds. NBA playoffs tonight, the Celtics a chance to close out the Nets. Brooklyn a 1-point favorite in Game 4, 220 the total. The Raptors a 7.5-point dog at the Sixers, 209.5 the total in Game 5. The Mavericks a 3-point favorite against the Jazz, 213 total, series tied at 2-2.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know that sound. It's the sound of the Home Depot. But what about those sounds? Those are the sounds of Bosch's Quick Ice Pro, the industry's fastest refrigerator ice maker and bottle fill technology for hands-free, customizable water options, making this the sound of savings on top brand appliances. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. Save on Bosch refrigeration now with spring appliance savings at the Home Depot. Valid April 21st to May 11th, U.S. only. Gas range extra while supplies last. See store for details.
I miss my baby. Someone stole my baby. By the way, my baby is my landscaping truck that was literally stolen from a job site. Baby, won't you please come home?
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with 30-plus customizable coverage options, Progressive Commercial keeps your business humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Outdoor season is coming. Can't wait.
Here at Brooks & Collier, neither can we. Outdoor season is also grilling season.
And we have plenty of grills and smokers in stock from Traeger, Blaze, and Big Green Egg.
There's the greenhouse, new indoor items and home furnishings as well.
Whatever it takes. Browse over 2 acres of furnishings. Can't wait.
How about you? North Alabama's indoor and outdoor living headquarters for over 75 years.
813 Meridian Street and at brooksandcollier.com.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The internet is everything. Actually, everything. And with WoW Internet, everything is good. Good streaming, good shopping, good gaming. And with an extra reliable connection, it's all good all the time. Get super fast gig speed internet from WoW for only $49.99 a month. Plus get $300 on us when you sign up at Wowway.com. Wow, that's good internet.
Wow.
Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Subject to change. Terms apply.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188, and you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The world champs are back. The Braves are out to defend their world championship. And behind Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, Dansby Swanson, Max Fried, and this loaded 2022 roster, a repeat is within reach.
Here goes Ozzie, 2-2 on the way, hit well. Deep center field. Might have ourselves a tie ball game. You betcha.
And we'll bring you every huge moment of the Braves 2022 season right here on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect isolated showers and a few thunderstorms. Clouds will start to increase throughout the overnight. Low temperatures falling into the lower 50s. And for your Tuesday, isolated showers and thunderstorms will be another possibility. Otherwise, a partly cloudy sky. High temperatures topping out in the mid-60s for the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up today at noon. Now back to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Valley Equipment now has two locations to serve you best. It's Valley Equipment Rental. They are on the South Parkway in their original location, and now they've opened a second location out on the North Parkway, out north of Winchester Road, and that's where you find the big excavators, the dozers, you contractors out there. You're going to want to check that location out. hey, I'm going to want to check that location out. I got to get by there and check it out. But, they just do such a tremendous job. And still at the South Parkway. Between the two locations, they've got more skid steers, more excavators than anybody in the Tennessee Valley. Anybody. They've grown so fast. And it's so exciting because it's a local operation. It's a local company, okay? They're the only one that's local like this and that's grown like this. And they blow everybody else away. Ross Roberts and his team, man, they're just tremendous. It's Valley Equipment Rental. Go on in there. Whether you got a small job to do around your own property or whether or not you've got a big job to do or whether or not you're a contractor, as I said, these are the guys that are helping build Huntsville, and they can help you out as well. It's Valley Equipment Rental. All right. Phone lines are open if you want to jump in. 256-576-4977. We took 2 phone calls in the first hour. I talked about this, the things that we have going on right now. The USFL. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm a little flummoxed. I am in my April habit. I am watching baseball and NASCAR. And then I'm watching some NBA as some of these series are getting kind of interesting. All right. And, there might be a couple of things that are going on there. Most of them are following the chalk, but, look at New Orleans and Phoenix is in a little bit of trouble maybe. What's it, tied at 2? Doesn't mean that Phoenix can't win it in 6, but they got so many injuries. We'll see what happens there. Usually the first round goes pretty much according to the chalk, and that's it. The Celtics are going to blow the Nets right out of the playoffs. They're up 3-0 there. The Heat are probably going to go ahead and finish off the Hawks now. Trae Young just can't get off at all. They figured out how to completely contain that guy and put the squeeze on him. So I'm watching a little bit of that. So last week of the NHL playoffs was very, very disappointed to see the Havoc go out over the weekend. They had a wonderful regular season. They had a great regular season. To say that this year didn't have a disappointing end would be a misnomer. You can't say that. You can't say, well, this was disappointing, because they were the number 1 team in the league for most of the year and then struggled down the stretch, had some injuries, but they were pretty healthy going into the playoffs, and to get taken out by Roanoke was very surprising. They were swept by Roanoke. They lost at home, got shut out at home Saturday night, and that's it. Season over. That's a disappointing end. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to be, we're homers for our home teams and all of that kind of stuff. That was a disappointing end to the season. Hate to see it happen. A lot of thrills, though, all year long. Another great season of Havoc hockey. Great times down at the Hockey Barn. Already looking forward to next year. And you never know. Might we even see the return of the UAH Chargers to the ice? And I don't mean at the club level. There is a story at NHL.com that says Alabama Huntsville, quote, locked and loaded to return but needs a conference. The only NCAA Division I team in the Southeast has its funding in place and a passionate hockey base. That story is out there right now. We're going to flesh this out a little bit more tomorrow. But Sheldon Walitsky said it's all we need, a conference. We're funded, we're locked and loaded, we're ready to go. If a new conference forms, we'll be submitting our application to get reinstated. They last played in the Western Collegiate Hockey Association. No conference, the Western Collegiate Hockey Association dissolved in 2021, and 7 schools left and reformed the Central Collegiate Hockey Association. And basically the whole league went, except for a couple of teams. They didn't want to go to Alaska. They didn't want to go to Alabama. How they can get this done, I don't know. But it's pretty interesting that they're still having this conversation. So that's out there. All right. So we took 2 phone calls in the first hour. With all of this stuff out there, we talked to Brandon about him breaking the china cabinet in his house on a hoverboard. And we talked to Dan about landscaping with wood chips around his house. There it is. Got the Corn Ferry in Huntsville this week. We'll be broadcasting from up there at the Ledges later on this week, Thursday and Friday. You had a great race at Talladega, both Saturday and Sunday. You've got the shenanigans that went on at Yankee Stadium on Saturday with Miles Straw calling out the fans, and then yesterday fans chanting Peter Parker because he tried to climb the wall and get into the crowd like it was hockey. You got Tennessee baseball breaking out the Florida Gator helmets. Got Alabama baseball going into the final weekend of SEC play at 9-9. They got South Carolina this weekend. Got Major League Baseball 3 weeks in. You've got the USFL, and we're talking about Brandon's China Cabinet and Dan's wood chips.
Sounds like a good day.
It's pretty much it now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much, and we got the NFL draft. And everybody is, worn out probably from looking at all of the different mocks and everything else. So all of that stuff is out there. As I said, Matt Hayes wrote the following 2 hours ago, right at the beginning of the show. He wrote, Kirby Smart is the best coach in college football. How long can he keep that title? He wrote, quote, you can have Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney. You can have Ryan Day or Lincoln Riley or any of the other elite coaches who fatten their wallets this offseason. Kirby Smart is the best coach in college football. That's right, Kirby Smart. The coach who couldn't go a season without some strange or quirky or bizarre in-game coaching decision that baffled the senses. The coach who could have won multiple national championships were it not for some conservative play calling in 2017 and a conservative decision at quarterback that impacted 2018 through 2020. Let's stop right there. Come on. I mean, really? Was it the conservative play calling in 2017, or was it a stirring comeback? We're not going to give that credit to Alabama for coming back from down 13-0 in that game and making those plays. Was it just about Kirby choking away that game? Was it not? Didn't have anything to do with Nick Saban, who actually is the best coach in college football, making the decision to change quarterbacks at halftime from a guy that won 26 games for the team? Come on. Conservative decision at quarterback that impacted 2018 through 2020. Are you telling me if Justin Fields was the quarterback instead of Jake Fromm, that they win a national championship there? Is that what's going to happen? He goes on to write, that same coach made every right decision last season, lifting Georgia to its first national title since 1980 and making a definitive statement along the way. And if you're looking for the next Saban, he's right there in Athens. Yeah, but the original Saban is still around. Do you really want to go down this path, especially with Georgia? Do you remember, what was it, 2015, 2013? What was that year that Georgia was a 1-point favorite over Alabama, and Alabama was done, and they were slipping? They've won like 3 championships since then. Remember when they went into Georgia on that blackout night and destroyed the Bulldogs? Saban, he's done. One SEC coach told Matt Hayes, quote, Kirby Smart put that flag in the ground last year. You better believe Nick is concerned. Close quote. Really? I mean, he's always concerned because he's smart. Hayes goes on to write, because Saban, as he said last season, sees himself in Smart. Saban taught Smart everything, beginning with Smart's time as a DB coach with Saban at LSU and the Dolphins. When Saban returned to college football, we know. 8 seasons, head coach, assistant head coach, DC, all that kind of stuff. Saban and Smart teamed up to win 4 national titles. Well, yeah, Saban teamed up with other guys to win 3 more national titles. In the 6 years since Smart left for his alma mater, Saban has won 2 more national titles and has split national championship games with Georgia and Smart. And that's where the evolution turns. Built from that same mold, and now finally, like Saban early in his college coaching career, developing a killer instinct on and off the field. No one recruits and develops players like Kirby Smart. He has mastered player procurement. And as important, wait a minute. Didn't he just lose one of his top receivers to Alabama? Okay, I don't want to get the facts in the way of this story. He has mastered player procurement, and as important, gets those players ready to compete at a high level, season after season. He also split 2 games last year with Alabama, just this last year. Remember Alabama roughing them up pretty good in the SEC championship game, a team that was, better than Alabama, you would think. Want to know why the Alabama defense hasn't been the same over the past 3 seasons? Look at the Georgia roster, writes Matt Hayes. Since 2016, Smart has taken the Alabama early years plan to win national titles, play defense better than anyone, run the ball, game manager at quarterback, and never backed off. At times, it's been to the detriment of the development. More than anything, it has been the foundation of building a program that has a better chance to catch and pass the Alabama dynasty than any other. So they won 2 national championships in 42 years, and now they're going to catch and pass the Alabama dynasty? He doesn't mean certainly in championships. He writes, since Georgia played for its first national title under Smart in 2017, the list of defensive recruits who were developed and became critical to the evolution of the Georgia program and high NFL picks is utterly phenomenal. The only way to truly do it justice is to name each player by season. It's an astounding recruiting development. 2017, Richard LeCounte, 5th round NFL pick. 2018, Ty Campbell, Quay Walker, Channing Tindall, Azeez Ojulari, Devontae Wyatt, Jordan Davis, Adam Anderson. All projected to be drafted in the NFL draft. 2019 recruiting class, Nolan Smith, projected first rounder in 2023. Who's going to be the number 1 pick overall in 2023? Oh, Will Anderson. I guess he's going to transfer to Georgia, maybe. I don't know. Nakobe Dean. Trayvon Walker. Could be the number 1 pick overall, Trayvon Walker. Lewis Sine. DJ Daniel. 2020, Keely Ringo. Projected first rounder in 2023. Jalen Carter. Projected first rounder in 2023. Oh, they got 3 first rounders, 4 first rounders, 3 first rounders on their defense next year. In next year's defense. That's how you build a defense that by the end of last season redefined how to win a national title in the age of the quarterback and passing game. A defense that was the most talented and vicious in college football since Nebraska's 1995 unit. Was last year's Georgia defense better than the 2011 Alabama defense? While everyone else is moving towards the idea that offense in the vertical passing game wins championships, including Saban, Smart has held firm to the idea that great defense changes everything. I think Nick Saban probably still feels like great defense changes everything. Even after Alabama beat number 1 Georgia in the SEC championship game last season, after the invincibility of the Georgia defense and Smart's decision to play game manager Stetson Bennett, who seemingly was exposed, Smart didn't panic. He doubled down. He didn't change quarterbacks. He didn't drastically alter what he was doing defensively. He said Georgia had to coach better and play better, and they went out and did it, won a national championship. Physically beating up both Michigan and Alabama, college football player. And in the process, introducing a program built to last at the top of its game. All right. I guess we'll see. They play in the weaker side of the SEC by far. So their path to the SEC championship is much cleaner and clearer. But we'll see. What a difference a year makes. All right, we get a break. Come back and wrap it up next. It's the Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10-plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
This April, the Corn Ferry Tour returns to the Rocket City for the 2022 Huntsville Championship at the Ledges. Experience the beauty and drama of the Ledges in person as golf's rising stars chase their PGA Tour dreams. From the first man on the green to the roar of the crowd when the final putt drops. Be a part of every moment on the mountain. April 28th to May 1st. Tickets to be a part of the action are on sale now at HuntsvilleChampionship.com.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC has been in the Tennessee Valley for well over 20 years, taking care of all our injury needs. It's TOC, whatever ails you. TOC can take care of you. They got specialists in every different body part, basically. If your doctor says you need to see an orthopedic, you tell them you want to see the orthopedics at TOC, and they will take care of you, just like they take care of really Alabama A&M, the Huntsville Havoc, and most of the high schools throughout the Tennessee Valley, all taken care of by the fine folks at TOC, and they have been friends of ours for a long, long time now on the show, over 15 years. They've been friends of ours. I guess I got here shortly after, probably 4, 5, 6 years after TOC got established, and they've been with us ever since for the most part. All right, over the weekend, comments were made, I guess Friday maybe, The comments were made by Jack Swarbrick, who is the athletic director at Notre Dame, to Pat Forty of Sports Illustrated, basically saying that he thinks that we're going to have a seismic shift in the way college football looks sometime in the next decade. All right, so what is this, 2022? He's saying sometime by the mid-30s that it's going to be totally different, what we see in college football. I don't think it's going to take that long, to be honest with you. We talked about it a week ago after Dabo Swinney made his comments about maybe there should be a split. Maybe there 40 or 50 teams should go one direction and everybody else is in another direction. Well, that means that several teams that are P5 teams wouldn't even be invited to that party if there was a, quote, Super League. Now the terminology Super League is getting more and more play. But Swarbrick said that it's inevitable that there's going to be a split between schools that operate athletics within a traditional educational structure and those who tie sports to the university, basically in name only. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point where, the players at Alabama or Auburn represent Alabama or Auburn but aren't students at Alabama or Auburn. I don't think we're going there. Well, like Alabama is the sponsor of a football team that represents Alabama, but they don't go to school. I think they'll still be students. Whatever a student is at that particular point in time, that's making money and everything else.
Well, I mean, how many
getting an education?
I mean, how many of them are making like really good money right now? How many of them? I just hoped a lot of them finish school. That's all. Because you never know. Money and greed, it could take over, and then we're going to start losing it. And the whole point of what college.
Well,
is
that's
about.
what has to be revamped: is how we're paying them through NIL. You can't have one guy making $1.5 million or $8 million and another guy making $500. There's going to be some kind of leveling of this whole thing, I believe. But I don't think it's the end of the world. Paul Feinbaum later on here on our air is going to tell you that college football's on its last breath. Well, that's just Paul. Coming up next is Chuck Oliver. I'm Thom Abraham. This is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Baumhauer's Victory Grill is your big game headquarters all fall long. And with our new fall features, every day is game day at Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Try our pregame starters, including our home